Well, it's been a minute since I've been here on YouTube. I did just try my hand at doing a short, and if you see it, my face is split in half, and I just got the giggles, and so I gotta learn. But I was led to come back on here, first of all, by my spiritual guides throughout the past couple weeks. I keep hearing, like, you need to go to YouTube, especially because TikTok got banned and then unbanned. But then I had a person on my TikTok channel say, hey, some of my friends have started following you on YouTube. And she was very nice, but it was kind of like, where are you on there? So I thought I would just try my hand at some cards today here, because I don't want to do like the same messages. I'm a very live kind of a person. So let's just, it's January 22nd. We are 2 days into the Trump administration. I have had to kind of become political in my spiritual teachings, and I haven't wanted to. I've tried hard not to, but the truth is that we are living in unprecedented times, and there are threats, whether they be real or existential threats, to vulnerable communities, who we all, regardless of your political affiliation, we all know immigrants. You know, we all know people who are part of the LGBTQIA plus communities. We may not know trans people, but we know people who do know them. So there's communities that are under threat by the current administration. So if you are a Trump supporter, you're probably you're not gonna want to be here with me, because I have to say very clearly, I do not support this administration. I do not support the rhetoric. I am the opposite. I am a humanitarian at heart. So I don't disagree that we don't have a lot of problems that we need to deal with in this country, but I am a firm believer that we can do that while still taking care of each other and having a heart and not creating enemies of each other. So that's just kind of where we are. I also am here with the full understanding that this is a very difficult time for a lot of people, and I'm here to support you. And the way that I'm going to support you is basically by conveying how Spirit supports me, if that makes sense. Like, most of my messages come because I will get up in the morning with a certain kind of feeling or something that will come through my meditation, and then I want to share it. Because like you, I struggle to remain centered. I struggle to stay in love. I struggle with anger. Like, I struggle. And I call in Spirit, and I call in God, and I call in my guides to assist me, and I learn a lot, and then I share it here. So let's pull some cards for January 22nd. I'm hearing to pull 3. So just open your hearts and take a deep breath, and we'll see what Spirit is guiding me to share with you in this moment. Yep. It's all just here. So the first card I pulled is the Sage card, Be Devoted and Committed. This card is like, it's so important right now for you to be very mindful and present and intentional about your spiritual practice, your prayer life, your inner state of being. You cannot inwardly just go with the flow. When the inauguration took place, the energy shifted. Well, the energy's been shifting for a while, but there's a lot of really tough energies out there. They've been around for a while. And, if you want to be centered in light, you've got to work for it now. It's not just going to happen for you. There was a sign I saw years ago on a church that said, live by design or live by default. We don't want to go with our default. The other problem with living in our default right now is that many of us might feel traumatized at this point, and living in default may mean that you're in fight flight. You're in fawn freeze. You are living in the default of just like, maybe you're in shutdown. That's one thing I'm struggling with, is when I feel unsafe, I have a tendency to shut down and numb out, spend too much time on my phone. And I'm wrestling with that right now. I tell myself, like, get up and do something. So you want to do that fine line between like having compassion for how you're handling things, but at the same time, pushing yourself to eat well and exercise and do the things that are better for you instead of just going into survival mode. But this card says that it's like, be devoted, be committed. He's writing, journal, meditate, take care of your spiritual life. Don't slack on that. And look for that kind of support. If you have a meditation group, yoga classes, like, get out there and connect with people, and be devoted and committed to your own well-being. you have to stay well during this time. That's the only way that you're going to be able to serve others. This is the White Witch card, Loving the Owl. I've been seeing so many owls this winter. Some of them I've seen around in my neighborhood, but a lot of just symbology. Anyway, the White Witch she's the one who brings the light. No matter what's going on around her, she brings the light. That's our job, is to bring the light and bring the love, which means we've got to deal with how we feel about things. We've got to deal with our anger. We've got to deal with our frustration. We got to let that shit go, and we got to bring the light. We've got to bring the love. So you have to find out how to do that, if that makes sense. Because I know a lot of you are very angry and very upset, and as we should be. But then we've got to process it and get back into center. You know, imagine you are sitting in the heart of God right now. You are sitting in the heart of light. You are sitting in the heart of love. Let that tension just melt away so that you can realign. And believe you me, your spiritual guides want this for you. Not just for you, but for everyone. So you've got tons of spiritual support to help you realign. But don't think that you can be walking through this world with a frown on your face and angry all the time and be making a positive difference. That's not how energy works. I'm not just lecturing you, I'm lecturing myself. Sometimes the guides come through me very lectury. I don't know what that is. So sorry if I'm preachy, but that's how she be. So bringing the light, that's your job. So it's pretty simple. Be committed, bring the light. And then the last card, this was the card I pulled for myself this morning, the summer card. Oh, I can't see without these. This is Bask in Joy and Light, which is so funny. It's like negative whatever outside for many of us. And I pulled the summer card this morning and in the vibe position. So I was like, what's the vibe right now? Summer? Really? Well, it's about basking in joy and light. It's about focusing on it. And I keep pulling a lot of cards like that about focusing on joy. One wonderful mantra or affirmation I do is, I take a deep breath, get settled, and I say, from joy I have come. In joy I live, move, and have my being, and into that sacred joy I shall melt again. It's a wonderful thing. I swear when I do that affirmation in the morning, at some point in the day I get the giggles. It's like I generate the joy energy and then it pops up someplace else. But we have to remain in the light. And we are going to grow a lot, like we do in any challenge. I had a friend the other day who's going through a lot of challenges, in her home. It's just been like one thing after another. So then she's got financial challenges. And, the guides were like, this is a growth time. We grow in the challenges. We grow in the suffering. In the good times, that's great. We recuperate, we heal. But the real growth and the strength of character, that happens when we are squeezed. And that's what's going on right now. So focus in the joy and light, and be very, very mindful about how you're living your days. Don't think that you can just, be robotic through your days. At least in the morning, wake up and choose. I am joy, I am love. And then you'll be able to see throughout the day what knocks you off of that and then realign. If you can, it's such a tall order. Like, meditate in the morning, meditate at noon, meditate at night. I mean, can you imagine if you did that, how on point you would be? Now, I struggle to do that. I meditate every morning. I've got that down. I love it. I usually do a little recentering sometime during the day. Nighttime, I just kind of like coast into bed. So that's my work to be done. So those are the cards. I'm going to be popping on here more often. I do feel very called to speak more because I know how difficult this time is, and we're only on day 2. But I'm here for you guys. If you have any questions or you want me to talk on any certain subjects, I do energy forecasting. I can pretty much look at anything, really. I mean, if you ask me, I can look at it. Anyway, drop it in the comments. But I'm happy to have you all here. I really am. And I will see you soon. Take care of yourselves.